Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my Loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today is a good old-fashioned Chatty get ready with me. Guys, I haven't done one of these in absolutely forever, and I am in deep need of some girl time. Like, girl talk is like #1 priority on my list right now. Before we get started, a very special, very warm welcome to any of those that are new to my channel. I am so incredibly happy that you are here. If you enjoy the content, I do so hope that you will mash that thumbs up button. I hope that you will subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope that you will ring my bell, turn on your notifications, so that way, next time I upload a video, you can come right back here and we can hang out together again. Also, my eye makeup is already done. I used the Glamlite Rick Morty palette. Y'all, that palette is all over TikTok at the moment. I purchased it when it first came out. It is so good. It is just as beautiful as everybody wants you to believe it is. The camera really just doesn't do it justice. So pretty. I think it's on sale right now too. If you've been thinking about it, it really is that pretty. So go for it if you have the money to do so. Guys, I did of course film a TikTok on today's eye look. I will make sure to have the link for that in the description box, as well as all the tags to all of my other socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. If you are not following me on all my other socials, you definitely should go do that. I post fun content every single day, and if you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a single moment of it. Also, I will make sure to put a full product list down in the description box as well. Guys, if you have any questions about what I'm using or how I'm using it, all you have to do is leave me a comment and I will get back to you. With all of that out of the way, let's get down to the girl talk. Like I said, it's been absolutely forever since I've done one of these, so I'm wondering if I still know how to do it. We shall see. First and foremost, happy Valentine's Day, my loves. You're seeing this the day after Valentine's Day, so I hope your day was full of small joys and appreciation. I hope that the people around you took at least 5 minutes to tell you how much they care. I think it's so important. The older we get, sometimes I feel like holidays like Valentine's Day and anniversaries, things like that, they just get less and less and less important until eventually you just forget about them completely. My husband and I have been married, it's going on 15 years now, which is absolutely insane. But we've been together even longer than that. And I can't tell you the last time we celebrated an anniversary. It just doesn't happen. For some reason, we always forget. There's always something more important to deal with. It just kind of is how life goes. But I tell you what, this year, Mr. Hubby, he really stepped up. I wasn't expecting anything. I never expect anything, and I shouldn't do that, right? Because I put forth the effort, right? I get everybody cards, and I make everybody feel special, and I make a special dinner. All of that good stuff, right? Like, I never forget to tell people how much I care. And not only do I say it, but I show it as well, right? But somehow along the way, I have stopped expecting other people to reciprocate. And I think it was last Christmas where I finally just kind of like, I lost my crap about it, because I had gone through all of this trouble, right? And I'm sure you guys can empathize. But I had gone through all of this trouble. I had done this beautiful Christmas with this giant tree, and I had scrimped and saved and scoured the internet for the best deals that I could find so that I could have a nice Christmas for both of my boys, right? Christmas morning comes and everybody's opening presents, and we get to the last present under the tree, and I'm sitting there, and throughout this entire the entire duration of us opening presents, not a single gift under that tree was for me. Not a single one. Nothing in my stocking, nothing under the tree. And when I tell you, I felt so forgotten. I felt so, and you know, part of that is my fault as well, because I didn't stress to anyone like, though I feel like you shouldn't tell people that they need to care about you, right? But I was so heartbroken about it. I lost my mind. I waited until Christmas was over, and after that I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. If nobody is going to put forth any effort for me, then I'm not going to put forth any effort for anyone. And at that point, I decided to start matching energy. And this is like my greatest secret weapon. Matching energy, people don't like that. People don't like it when you match their energy at all, especially my husband. My husband's wonderful, and I love him very, very much. But he is very, I don't even know what the right word for it, because he's not self-absorbed, because he does small things for me all the time that show me he cares. But when it comes to the bigger things, like putting thought and time into me, he just doesn't do it. Like if it's more than a passing thought, it's just not going to happen. And so I just started matching his energy. My husband can be, I love him so much, but he can be so grumpy, and he can be very short and terse with me as well. And it's hard. It's hard to deal with that all the time. And then on top of that, Lord knows that I'm not allowed to be short and terse. I have to be happy and jolly and cordial and in a good mood all the time. Because you know how they say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. I have to be in a good mood. So I had to take all that and I had to swallow it. And then I had to give and I had to give and I had to give. So I was filling everybody else's cup and mine was just completely empty. So I just stopped. And I tell you, it's probably the best decision I ever freaking made. Because when I started doing that, it didn't take very long at all. I think maybe it took like a day and a half for my husband to kind of realize that maybe something was wrong, like what's going on here. So we sat down and we had a conversation, and instead of arguing with him and just being mean and being upset and like screaming and yelling, I just told him that I'm done. I said exactly what I just said to you guys. I'm tired of refilling everyone else's cup. I am tired of pouring in to everybody else when nobody pours into me. I'm tired of doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't have anything else to give. I'm done, right? My son, he's almost 15 at this point. Like, I've been doing this for 15 years with my husband as well. Like, at some point, it gets to be my turn where I get to be loved on, and I get to be cherished, and I get to be all of those good things. So, after I had that conversation with Mr. Hubby, he still kind of screws up every now and then, but I will say he has been so much better since then. And also, now that I know that he just really doesn't like it when I do that matching of the energy thing, if he ever just really ticks me off, I just start matching his energy. I don't scream. I don't get upset. I just stop trying. And I think when us as women, right? I think we don't realize how much our engine drives our individual worlds. Like, we are the world engine. Like, if we stop, everything around us stops. Like, it just, without us, it doesn't work. And I think men in particular, because I have a husband and a son, so I'm surrounded by testosterone 24/7. But I think it's very easy for men to feel like they're like the main character in their story. And of course, that's fine 90% of the time, but you even main characters, there's always like a heroine in the story. There's always that counterpart, right? And just because maybe I'm not your main character doesn't mean I'm not important, right? And I just stopped. I stopped accepting the treatment. I stopped accepting being put last all the time. And after I did that, Mr. Hubby has really stepped up to the plate in a very, very big way. And it's not even like I need these big, grandiose, like, shows of affection or grand gestures. Like, this year for Valentine's Day, he got me y'all, it's so freaking cute. So he got me a little, like, box of chocolates. They're right here. I've been munching on them because they're delightful. He got me this little box of chocolates. He got me a really cute, like, really beautiful, thoughtful card, which was all I really wanted, right? And then he got me, he got me a Chex Mix bar. Guys, if you haven't tried these, they're delightful. This is the Chex Mix cookies and cream bar. They're so, so yummy. And it's just, and these are my absolute favorite. I love these things so, so much. But it's those little things, like, he remembered how much I like those. he got the right chocolates, right? He got my favorite chocolates. He got me a beautiful, thoughtful card. I didn't need him to go out and spend $100 on jewelry and roses. I just wanted a little bit of thought. And I feel like in that regard, we're all pretty much the same. We just want to be thought about. We just want to be remembered. And we just want to feel like we matter, even for just a short little time, right? Because I feel like just as caregivers in general, we're just always focused on everybody else. And it feels like we're always putting ourselves last, especially when it comes to our children and our husbands, our significant others, things like that. So I feel like it's not too much to ask for them to just remember us every once in a while. So I really do hope that your Valentine's Day was at least slightly better than the average day. Like I said, we didn't do anything super special. We didn't go out. We didn't do anything like that. First of all, we just don't have the money for it this year, y'all. But just like the little things just add up, and they can mean so very much. I am breaking out so bad. I am very lucky in the fact that I usually don't deal with a lot of pimples and breakouts and things like that. But y'all, my monthly must be on her way, because I have them all over the place. They're all over my chin. They're the little teeny tiny ones. But why is it that the teeny tiny little pimples, they're the ones that hurt the absolute worst? I had one on my chin yesterday, and then I had one right here. This one was a honker. It was giant. And my husband is one of those guys that just really likes to mash a pimple. So anytime he sees a bump on my face, he's like, let me get it. I had to tell him, like, you're going to end up scarring me, because he likes to really mash it. Don't do that. You can like slightly pop it, but it's so bad. I was watching TikTok the other day. TikTok. Y'all, I spend my life on TikTok sometimes, it seems. But I saw a video the other day, and do you know that like this is called the dead zone? And like you can actually like unalive yourself by popping a pimple in the middle of your face. There's some kind of bacteria that lives on your skin, and it can lead to like sepsis and all kinds of like really awful things. So of course, after hearing that, I am absolutely terrified to pop a pimple. But as long as it wasn't like just on the center of my face, I thought it was okay. So I let him pop this one. Oh, and it hurts so bad. But now I have a couple more that are popping up on my forehead. Not happy about that at all. Mr. Hubby and I finally got our W-2s back in the mail. So we were finally able to go file our taxes, which I'm super freaking happy about. Y'all, that tax money is not going to get here fast enough this year. It's insane. I feel like it's just been crazy. I know y'all are feeling the pinch too. It's all over the world. It's insane. Things are getting so difficult out there. Just surviving is getting harder and harder. So we went and we filed our taxes. We got a decent amount back. Not super stoked about it, but at this point, any little bit will help. And with the price of groceries and stuff going like absolute, they're skyrocketing. It's insane. A gallon of milk is like almost $5 where I live, which is just like, that's got to break a record somewhere. It's insane. I remember when a gallon of milk used to be $2.50. It has doubled in price. Like, what in the world is going on? And on top of the fact that I have a 14-year-old boy who is doing nothing but growing right now. So, and of course, because he's doing nothing but growing, all he wants to do is freaking eat. That boy, I can go get groceries, and the next day, like 90% of what I purchased is freaking gone. I do not know where he freaking puts it. It's like he's a bottomless pit, and I am helpless to stand against it. Like it feels like I keep throwing things into the void. And he's such a good boy, you know? Like, of course, I'm not going to tell him that he can't eat. Like, that's just absolutely freaking evil. But I do try to be like, well, you know, he has this thing where he likes to eat because he's bored, right? And especially on the weekends, it's the absolute worst. Well, I guess that's because he's home all day. But it is the absolute worst on the weekends. Sometimes I feel like he will just eat just because it's in the house. Now I'm to the point where I will only buy a certain amount of food. And if he runs through it, he runs through it. Like, I'm not making a special trip to the store. Like, we're not doing that. Like, if you eat it all and you go through all of your snacks, that is your problem. you need to figure it out. Either you can earn some money to go buy yourself some more snacks, or you can wait until I go back to the grocery store. I told him, I was like, I feel like you are not understanding. And, you know, I know he's a kid and it's not his problem, but I also feel like he's almost to the point now where he's going to be going out and getting his own job. And, you know, I mean, he's almost 15. So it's almost to the point now where he's going to start going out and, you know, making his own money, helping to purchase his own food and things like that. And I don't know. I just feel like he's completely unaware of how expensive it really is just to live. And I'm worried that I'm trying to manage his expectations. And you guys, let me know how you feel about it in the comments, because again, there's no handbook to being a parent. And I feel like part of my job, right, is to kind of prepare him for life outside of home. Like, I would never just kick him out. But he's already talking about how he can't wait till he can buy his own car, and so that he doesn't have to depend on us for everything. And I remember, like, it wasn't that long ago that I was still living at home with my parents. So I remember what it felt like to have to depend on other people for literally everything. So I completely understand where he's coming from. But he talks sometimes about how he can't wait till he gets a job and gets a car, so he can go out and he can go buy his own food, and he can eat whatever he wants to eat, and he can do whatever he wants to do. And I keep trying to tell him, baby, that's wonderful, and independence is a beautiful thing. But you also have to understand that everything costs money. He just expects if we run out of chips, or I'll buy a family-sized bag of Doritos. Okay, I'll buy a family-sized bag. He'll pick the bag up, he'll open it, and 10 minutes later, the bag is completely and totally gone, right? That bag, ideally, should have lasted a couple of days, right? But instead of him trying to be, what is the word? Instead of him thinking of others and being like, oh, well, maybe I'll just have a couple, and then I'll save some for somebody else. He's a little bit selfish about it, right? And I know that with children, just inherently, children are selfish. It's just kind of like how they're made. You have to learn. I think that's part of growing up as well, thinking about other people. And he's not super selfish when it comes to everything. But when it comes to food, he just doesn't think. He'll drink a gallon of milk a day and just not think about it. I'm trying to impress to him that the stuff doesn't come free, and that we need to go just a little bit easier on it. Don't sit there and eat a whole bag of Doritos just because it's sitting there. I feel like it's going to be a very different story when he gets his own job and starts paying for some of his own food. And I already know he's going to get that food and he's going to try to put it in his bedroom and not share with anybody. And that's fine. But he's going to want to be all selfish with his food. And then he's going to want to come out into the kitchen and he's going to want to eat mommy and daddy's food. That's not going to fly either. Like, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too, sir. I don't know. My kid's still pretty young, so we're still figuring things out. But if you've gone through that before and you know what I'm talking about, how did you handle that? Like, how did you help your children learn the value of $1? I think that's the whole point I'm trying to get to. How do you make your children understand that things are expensive, right? And that things don't just replenish themselves. That's what I'm kind of struggling with at this point. It's like, oh, leads me to my next topic. So Shawnee Bear is in band, and he plays the clarinet, and he plays it so beautifully. He plays it like he was born to it, like he was born with a clarinet in his hand. It's amazing to see, and it brings him so much joy. Oh, I just cannot get over it. Last weekend, though, the weekend before last weekend, he went and he tried out for all district. And if you're a band mom, you know exactly what that is. But if you're not, it is basically you go and you get ranked. And they take all of the schools, all the kids in band across the entire state. And they have them go play. They do their scales and their arpeggios. They have to sight read, all of that good stuff, right? It's like a musicianship test. And they go, and my son, I think he ranked number 11 out of the entire state, right? Which is really, really fantastic. He was the only kid from our school that got picked. So when you go and you get ranked, they take the top, I think it's like the top 15 in each category, and they formed this big mega orchestra, and they put on a big performance at the end of the weekend, right? It's kind of like a weekend band camp, right? So my son gets picked. He's the only person in the entire school that plays well enough to get picked. So he was absolutely freaking stoked. And on top of that, because he was the only person to get picked, and there was a certain amount of money that the school had set aside to send these kids to this competition, he was able to get his own hotel room. Like, he got his own king-sized hotel room. He was stoked about it, and he just had an absolute freaking blast. I'll put some pictures down. But he went, and like I said, it's kind of like a weekend band camp. So he went and he stayed at Western Carolina University, and they played all day, and he got to play with college kids. They had a really well-known director come and direct them. It was just really, really beautiful. So he left super early Friday morning, spent the night Friday night, and then practiced again all day Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon is when they had this big concert. So of course, I'm absolutely stoked to go watch my baby play. So we go and make the 2-hour drive to go see our son play. And y'all, when I tell you, it was just, it took my breath away. His orchestra sounded so beautiful. The music they played was absolutely gorgeous. I love the compositions they chose, all that stuff. It was absolutely fantastic. But he had the best time. He worked his little hiney off. I think it was like 3 weeks straight where he would wake up, go to school, come home, practice until dinner, and then pass out. He was so mentally exhausted by the end of that weekend that he ended up coming home and literally just clocking out. He got really, really lucky, because his concert was on Saturday, and then that next Monday was a teacher work day, so he actually got to come home and recuperate for a little while, which was kind of fantastic. But y'all, had such a blast. I absolutely adore going and doing school functions like that. I love supporting my son. I love seeing him really enjoy something. I love seeing him work towards something, because I feel like, I try to make his life as easy as possible. And sometimes, of course, I worry about sending him out into the world. I worry that he doesn't have enough work ethic. I worry that he doesn't have enough drive, all of those things. But to see him really put the pedal to the metal and really work and strive for something, and then not only that, but accomplish it and make it happen. Oh, I was so proud of him. I was sitting there in the audience. And of course, it's kind of like a classy kind of thing. So it was semi-formal attire, all of that good stuff. So we went and we were all dressed up, and I had my hair done and my makeup on. I had my heels on. We were going, and the lights go down. And of course, by the end of his first song, the lights go back up a little bit, and they stand up and they take their bows. And I'm sitting in the audience. Woo, gosh. He was absolutely mortified, I'm sure. But I was so proud of him, and I was so excited at that moment in time. I literally just couldn't help myself. But then, unfortunately, he came home with a cough. That's kind of always what happens. They go and they're in this big giant group of children, and there's germs everywhere, and he's having a great time, right? He's not focused on sanitizing his hands and not touching his face. So he came home with a little bit of a cough, and it's gotten progressively worse as the days have progressed. And then this evening, Mr. Hubby, he was like, I feel the bug. He was like, I feel like I'm getting sick. Mr. Hubby's got a little bit of a runny nose now. And when I tell you, that man is the absolute biggest baby when it comes to being sick. He gets so grumpy and so grouchy. I call him Oscar sometimes because he's just so grouchy. Do you remember Sesame Street? Oscar the Grouch lived in the trash can. Such a grouchy little thing. My husband reminds me very much of him, especially when he gets sick. Hopefully it passes pretty soon, though. So if you hear some coughing in the background, it's because my baby's sleeping, and he's got a little bit of a cough going on. So I very recently went to the doctor. Y'all, I have been a big lady my entire life. I wear it with pride now. I love my body. But it was getting to the point where I was genuinely trying to diet, and just to I was trying to lose a couple of pounds just for my own health, right? I feel like I just want to be able to move better. I want to be able to breathe better, things like that. I just want to feel better. So I was like, let's start trying to lose a little bit of weight. and it just wasn't happening. Like, y'all, I was counting calories, doing all kinds of things, and it just was not working for me. I could not lose any weight at all. So I finally broke down and I went to the doctor and got some really, I mean, not horrible news, but not great news either. So the doctor put me on a new medication and it has been helping so much. The first month I was on my new medication, I lost 11 pounds and oh, I am so excited. On top of that, I've been trying to make healthier choices as well. So like, I like sugar and cream in my coffee. So instead of doing two spoons of sugar, I just use one. Instead of using half and half, I use 2% milk, those kind of things. Because I was having a conversation with my husband. And my husband is an absolute beanpole. My husband is 6'4" and like 210 pounds. Like he's a beanpole, right? And it's so funny. It's so funny because we walk around and I'm just this short, chubby little thing. And my husband is an absolute freaking just like tree of a man. And he's so skinny. It looks like I don't feed him at all. Of course, he eats twice as much as I do and doesn't gain a pound. That's just kind of how it works, right? But I was talking to him, trying to kind of like figure out, I wanted to make choices that I could like be consistent with, because I feel like depriving yourself, saying I'm going to cut bread out of my diet completely, I'm going to cut sugar out of my diet completely. Like, it might work for some people, but that just doesn't work for me. I enjoy a piece of candy every now and then. I enjoy bread. Like, I enjoy carbs, pasta, right? So I'm trying to make smaller choices that will have a lasting impact, because after I lose the weight, I want to be able to keep it off, right? Like, I don't want to just get to my goal weight and then just kind of like drop it and gain all the weight back. So like I said, I'm making smarter, healthier choices and just kind of like cutting back. I am horrible at eating like a bowl of cereal before I go to bed, or like eating after, like, it'll be super late at night and I'll be like, ooh, I want like a bowl of cereal or a bowl of ice cream, something like that. And then I'll eat it and then I'll go right to bed. So I've stopped doing that. I've also cut soda pretty much out of the picture. I wasn't really drinking it beforehand, but now I only limit myself to 1 soda a day. And again, I'm not trying to deprive myself. I want to make decisions that I'm going to be able to be consistent with. But I don't want to feel deprived, right? Because I feel once you get that into that deprivation mode, it becomes like an obsession. And that's when, at least in my opinion, when I end up failing. Because I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I want a Coke. I'm going to have a Coke. And then I end up drinking an entire case, you know? So I only have 1 soda a day. And then I've noticed that since I've kind of cut down on the intake, like, I don't want it so much anymore. So it's been so nice. And then this month so far, I've lost about 15 pounds, which I am so stoked about. I was going through my pictures and I was trying to, like, the memory on my phone is getting full. So I was going through my pictures, trying to delete old pictures. I came across some pictures I had taken about 2 years ago. And it is so crazy how much you can change in just the span of 2 years. It was almost like I was looking at a completely different person. I was a lot thinner. So I feel like you don't really realize how much you are, at least I didn't realize how much I was really ballooning until I went and looked back at some of my old pictures. I was like, dang. So I really want to get back to that point. But I'm getting there slowly but surely. However, I'm not being hard on myself. Like, it's just kind of like a fact of life. People gain weight, they lose weight. No, not everybody is meant to be thin. Things like that. I'm just trying to focus not so much on losing the weight, but being healthier. That's the whole goal. I just want to be a little bit healthier. But I couldn't help but think I was a little, and you never appreciate how cute you are in the moment, right? Because you always think, oh, I could always be thinner, I could always be prettier. And we never take the time to sit there and realize that 2 years from now, I'm going to look back at myself right now. Yeah, 2 years from now, I'm going to look back at myself right now and be like, dang, I was cute. What happened? Why didn't I love myself like that? So I'm trying to make a concentrated effort to love myself now. I don't want to wish my life away, waiting to be prettier, waiting to be perfect, because it's never going to freaking happen. And I don't want to. I'm tired of wasting and wishing my life away, right? Waiting for that perfect day to come, because it's just not going to happen. And I was thinking the other day that I would rather be me now than anyone else 20 years ago. Like, who I am now is exactly who I want to be. I am working to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And I just think it's so funny how we're kind of always waiting to be better and not taking the time to appreciate who we are now. Because if you look back, I know if I look back on myself 15 years ago, y'all, I was a hot freaking mess. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just a hot mess. Young, dumb, and no idea what I was doing. But now I look at myself and I'm so happy. I am so happy with the person that I'm becoming. I'm so happy with the growth that I have done. I'm so happy with what my husband and I have accomplished in, our time together. Like, I love my family, things like that. And y'all, we're not rich by any means. Like, we are not, like, life is not perfect at all. But I tell you what, compared to 15 years ago, we're doing all right. So I think that's going to be, I know it's a little late for New Year's resolutions, but I think that's going to be one of my biggest ones this year. I want to work on that. I want to work on appreciating right now. I want to stop waiting for something else to happen, because I feel like that's what I've done my entire life. I've kind of waited for something better to come along. I've waited for, myself to be better, or for, a situation to change. And I've spent my whole life waiting for things to happen, waiting for things to change, instead of appreciating the moment right now. And I just refuse. I refuse to do it anymore. So I am going to, of course, work towards a better tomorrow, but I'm also going to appreciate today. And kind of piggybacking off of the whole weight loss thing, y'all, let's talk about cosmetic surgery for just a second, because it is something I am super, super curious about. Have any of my mamas, have you ever gotten any kind of cosmetic surgery? I never have, not because I don't want to, because I just haven't had the opportunity or the means to do so. Of course, we all have 1,000,001 different things we'd like to change about ourselves, but I never really did get too interested in it, just because I really never had a reason to. But now that I'm on this weight loss kind of thing, I've been so big for so long. I've been chunky my entire life, so I know, like, that's one of the biggest things that scares me about losing weight, and it's one of the biggest reasons I've put it off for so long, because I am so scared of the saggy skin. Because y'all, I'm a little bit older now. My skin is not quite as resilient as it once was, and I know that when I lose the weight, I'm gonna have the saggy skin. And I'm just, I don't know how to deal with it. It's just like, I would rather be big all over than, I don't know. It's so hard, because it really does scare me. I just don't know what to do about it. So I've told myself that after I get to a certain point and after I reach my weight loss goals, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have like a mommy makeover, right? I'm going to have all of the rolls removed. I'm going to have all of the loose skin done, but that means that I have to start saving up for it now, because Lord knows it'll take me a couple years to get all of the weight off, because I'm not trying to do anything super drastic or anything like that. I want to take it off healthy, right? I want to be healthy. It's not about weight loss. It's about being healthier. So I'm going to do it slow and steady, but that'll also give me time to save up the money. But I was looking at prices for like cosmetic surgery, and when I get it done, like, I'm just going to go all out. I'm terrified of it, but I'm going to go all out. I'm going to get my tummy done. I want to get a tummy tuck. I also want to get a breast lift done, because when I had my son, I breastfed for almost 14 months. Like, I breastfed for a good long while. And my son, Sean, was 9 pounds and 14 ounces when he was born. He was a big old baby. He was a big old boy. About tore me in half, giving birth to him, honestly. But of course he ate like a little freaking heifer. So my milk supply was absolutely insane. And for me, being as large of a lady as I am, I unfortunately take after my father's side of the family and have no boobies. I have no boobies at all whatsoever. So when my milk came in, my boobs absolutely freaking swelled. They got gigantic. I went from like a B cup to a double D, which was insane. And because my breasts got so large so quickly, now they just kind of, and like once my milk went away, there was nothing left to fill them up. So now they look like sad little deflated, they look like sad little deflated balloons. It's awful. It's awful. Not quite so bad, but it's not great either. So when I go get my surgery after I lose all of the weight, I'm going to get my breasts done as well. And I think that's the thing that I am the most excited about. But I went and I looked up prices for like breast augmentations and things like that. And the lowest price that I could like find for like a good reputable surgeon was $10,000. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm assuming that it's going to be a good chunk of change. But also I know that I'm worth investing in, and I'm worth investing in myself. And I know that I'm still young enough that it's worth it. It's worth it to save the money and get it done. So, but I would like to know if you guys have ever thought about it. Have you ever gotten any procedures done? Like, just kind of like tell me your experiences with it, because it's definitely something that I'm going to have to do some serious research on and really figure out what it is that I want to get done and where I want to go to get it done, things like that. But I just would like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Like, were you happy with your results? Do you think it was worth it? Things like that. And I also think that that is going to give me a little bit of motivation as well, right? Because I have been I've been a little bit of a chunky monkey my entire life. So I don't know what it is like to be thin. I don't know what it is like to not have a tummy. So I'm just also kind of worried about how I will adjust to it. You know, is it different? Like, have any of you ever been big and got small, or have any of you ever been small and got big? Like, is it like, do people really treat you different? Things like that. I was on, of course, going through the reels, and I went into a little bit of a rabbit hole. And these women were talking about their experiences because they were big and they got small, and people really did treat them differently. And I'm like, I can't imagine, like, I know it's a thing, but I can't imagine somebody treating somebody differently just because they're smaller or larger. I just feel like that's kind of a douchebag thing to do. I know people do it. I just don't have to like it. But yeah, I'm excited about possibly getting some my boobies done. I think my boobies and my tummy, those are the two that I'm really just the most stoked about, because those are my biggest problem areas as well. And I'm so excited to go buy like super pretty cute little clothes, things like that. Again, I've never been thin. I've never had that experience, and I'm just so excited to get to be able to experience it. And I can't imagine being able to go into the store, right? Like, buying clothes must be such a different experience. I have never been able to just walk into a store and just pick up clothes off of the rack. I've always had to order online and things like that because they don't carry my size in store. But then I also have to remind myself that I'm still going to be the same person. There's just going to be less of me to go around, right? I also think that I want to go get a couple of tattoos. Do you guys have any tattoos? I have a couple. I have a big one on my back that I regret so badly. I want to go get that covered up. It was my very first tattoo, and I got it right after I had my son, and I'm lucky because I don't have to see it all the time, and a lot of times I forget that it's back there. But I would really love to go get a couple of tattoos that are like super small and dainty. Like, I really want to get something floral, maybe like behind my ear, something like that. Also maybe want to get something like on my chest. I saw this one picture on Instagram of this girl who had this really gorgeous, almost kind of like filigree right here, and it looked so pretty on her. And I love tattoos. I actually have quite a few tattoos and quite a few piercings. I have my eyebrow done, my nose is done. I also have 3 holes in each ear. I'm gonna wait to get any more tattoos until I get my body to where I want it to be. But after that, I am so excited. I really want to get a really pretty kind of soft floral kind of something. Probably won't get anything too big, but I'm super excited for another one. I have my son's name tattooed right here, and then on this arm I have mother and son tattooed. It probably says soy sauce because I actually don't know what the symbols are. I got it when I think I was 20 when I got this tattoo, and really didn't do enough research into the Chinese characters that I chose. So I'll guarantee pretty much that I've got the word soy sauce tattooed on my forearm, but that's okay. Soy sauce is good. I guess I can live with it. But now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser, I'm excited to get a tattoo with a little bit more meaning behind it. My husband has always talked about getting a tattoo. He doesn't have one though. I think Mr. Hubby's just a little bit scared of needles. Nobody really likes needles, but I think Mr. Hubby's just a little bit of a chicken. I feel like tattoos are one of those things that has become so much more accepted. Like, it's much more of an acceptable form of personal self-expression, you know, because I remember back in the day, especially when I got my first tattoo, tattoos were still kind of like taboo, right? Like, women didn't really, especially in the South where I'm at, women didn't really get tattoos. If you did get a tattoo, it was either a tramp stamp, and that meant you were trashy, or like you were, you know, tough, and it just was like it said something about you, you know. But now I feel like tattoos are more of an artistic kind of thing. Like, it's just about wearing the art, you know, and you don't necessarily have to have this like big giant reason to go get a tattoo. You just get a tattoo because they're pretty. I think it's so interesting how the world kind of changes, how perceptions can change so much just over the span of a few years. But I have absolutely nothing against tattoos or anything like that. My son, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he'll ever get a tattoo. That boy absolutely screams at me every time I have to brush his hair. He's so tender-headed. So I'm not sure he could actually sit there and get a tattoo. But y'all, I was on YouTube the other day and I saw this video about how there is a service, of course, for the ridiculously rich, that you can go and you can actually get put to sleep and get your tattoo and your teeth done. That's a weird combination, but you can actually go and get your teeth and tattoos done under anesthesia, and you don't have to like sit there and deal with any of the pain, anything like that. And you literally have a full medical team surrounding you throughout the entire process. Y'all, that is absolutely insane. I remember when I first got my tattoo, like, part of the whole thing was like I was tough enough to sit through it and get my tattoo. But now if you have enough money, you can just bypass that entire thing and just like sleep through the entire process. That is so crazy to me. And I saw like the price point on it was kind of freaking ridiculous. It was like to get one tattoo, it was something like $200,000. I mean, I guess if you got the money, you got the money, but Lord have mercy. I have very recently started sleeping in a silk bonnet because, y'all, my hair is absolutely a mess. My hair is so crazy, and it just gets to be so much to deal with sometimes. I have so much of it, and it gets so kinky and so knotted. And like the further into winter we get, and the drier my hair gets, I'm just facing a lot of breakage and stuff here recently. So I read that sleeping in a bonnet really helps reduce breakage. It helps reduce frizz. There's a bunch of benefits for your hair. So I went, and y'all, I went to the Dollar Tree. I went to the Dollar Tree, and I was hoping and praying I would find something that I could wrap my hair with before I went to bed at night. And I did. I found the most adorable $1.25 hair nets. This one right here, this is the one that I've been wearing. I just put it over my hair before I go to sleep. I have noticed such a gigantic difference in the way that my hair looks and feels in the morning. It's nowhere near as frizzy. I don't wake up with bedhead. There aren't, like, you know, do you ever wake up and you see like the little pieces of hair on your pillow, like the little pieces of breakage? Like, I'm noticing that I'm not having as much breakage. My hair looks better. It's shinier, feels healthier just in general. And I just feel like it was so totally worth that $1.25 investment. And not only that, but I got one for Shawnee Bear too. This is the Colored Raine Cream Blush in the shade Butterfly. It is the most gorgeous purple blush. I love this stuff so very much. You hear my baby coughing in the background? I feel so bad for him. He's got a little bit of a cough. I let him stay home on Tuesday, but he's got to go to school for the rest of the week because I can't get him in to see the doctor. And y'all, these attendance laws are so freaking crazy. I don't know how they are where you live, but y'all, this school cracks down on attendance. I got in so much trouble one year because he missed one day over the limit. Y'all, they took me to court. This coming from someone who has never been in trouble a day in her life. Sean missed one day too many, and they took me to court. I had a police officer come out to the house and serve me with papers and everything. And I ended up going to court. Y'all, do you know that they put me on a year of supervised probation for school attendance? I have never, ever been in trouble before in my life. I can say, though, that he missed so much school because we were just having a really hard time. Our car had, like, exploded, and that was before we got Sean's autism and ADHD under control. So it just kind of, like, everything culminated. He had gotten suspended, expelled. He wasn't allowed to ride the bus anymore, and my car blew up, so I didn't have a way to get him to school. And because of that, like, he ended up missing quite a few days, and I got in a lot of trouble. But you know, they ended up putting me on probation for a whole year of supervised probation. I felt like a criminal. Like, I had to go and see a probation officer. They made me pee in a cup and everything. Like, I felt like, and oh, it was awful. It was an awful experience. Like, and you know, I'm really open about the fact that I am an ex-addict and things like that. I've been clean for 7 years at this point, 7 or 8 years, I forget, but I've been clean for a really long time at this point. So when I got put on probation for school attendance, it just kind of brought all of those feelings of, like, self-doubt and self-hatred too, really. Like, I was just so disappointed in myself and absolutely just terrified all the time. It was just like, it was absolutely miserable. So since that's happened, I've been so anal. Like, I have so much anxiety when it comes to Sean going to school and his school attendance. And, like, I've also learned that it is super important to, like, be friends with the people at your children's school. Like, it is so important to have allies at that school. Also, it's very important to be honest with everybody about what's going on. Like, if you're having troubles at home, or if you're having, like, troubles getting your kids to school, things like that, I just find that honesty is always the best policy. Like, the first thing I will do is pick up that phone, and I will either call the school nurse, or I will call and I will talk to Sean's principal. And I'm pretty fortunate that his principal is a pretty fantastic lady. Honestly, she is super kind. She actually has she's given Sean rides home before, things like that. She's just kind of a fantastic educator. And I think it's really sad because that's not super common in our school systems anymore. So I am aware that we are very privileged to have educators that actually still care. But y'all, it was just like, I couldn't believe that they made me feel like a criminal because Sean missed school. They do not play. I heard that it's because they get paid a certain amount of money each time, like, for each child, every day that they attend a school, the school gets a certain amount of money. And when the child isn't there, of course, the school doesn't get paid. So then they have to, like, the budget gets all kind of messed up. So that's why they're so big on attendance. But y'all, that just makes me think, where are our taxes going? Because don't we pay school taxes and road taxes and all that kind of stuff? Like, I know every paycheck Mr. Hubby gets, they're definitely taking the taxes. They're taking FICA and WICA and what all the other stuff out, all those taxes, and nothing is included in school anymore. Like, I remember when I was in school, because I was in band as well, I remember they provided instruments, they provided sheet music and books and all that kind of stuff, and they just don't do that anymore. I had to go, when Sean told me that he wanted to be in band, I had to go on Amazon. I had to go on Amazon and try to find a clarinet because there wasn't one at the school. that could be provided to him. So I go, and I actually ended up finding a clarinet on Facebook Marketplace, of all places. And I found it for like, I think I found it for like $80, which is really, really cheap. It was not a great clarinet at all. And of course, you get what you pay for. So we had it for, I want to say, about 8 months, and it was absolutely just destroyed. It didn't work. But again, very, very lucky, because Sean's music teacher, his band teacher, is fantastic. She is such a delightful woman. I like her so, so very much. But she ended up like putting the work in, and she found somebody to sponsor Sean, so he was able to borrow an instrument from an ex-band member. So that was kind of fantastic. It worked out in the end, but don't ever buy super cheap clarinets off of Facebook, because they don't last very long. I've also really been thinking about going and getting my hair braided. I have so much hair. It's so thick and it's so curly, and especially with the summer coming, I want it off. I want it off my neck. I'm not going to cut it, because that's just like, I did a big chop last summer and I instantly freaking regretted it. Like, it felt delightful to not have hair all down my back, but I missed it the very moment that it was gone. And of course, once you cut it off, you can't get it back. You have to wait for it to grow back. So I thought, instead of just cutting it all off this summer, I might go get it braided. I have a friend who braids hair, and she's really, really good at it. And I've never had my hair braided before, but she suggested to me to get some medium knotless braids, and I'm really, really thinking about it. I feel like it's going to be pretty expensive, just because I do have so much hair, and I also want to get some length added to it, because my hair is an all right length, but I could definitely deal with it being just a little bit longer. And I feel like if it was in a braid, again, I wouldn't have to style it. I wouldn't have to really deal with it, so I could get that super long, like, waist length hair without all of the fuss and the muss, and I wouldn't have to worry about like wetting it down and brushing it every day. If I go a day, like a single day, without brushing my hair, it literally turns into a freaking rat's nest. It gets all matted and knotted together, and it's impossible to get a brush through it. So I'm thinking braids are going to be the way to go this year. I am super, super excited about it. Again, I'm not like set on it yet, but I kind of really want it. I really want to make it happen. Because I have so much hair, I'm worried it's going to be like ridiculously expensive. So again, if you guys have any comments or opinions on that, please let me know in the comments below. But I'm at a point now where I just spend so much time on my hair, because it's like super important to me. But also, I'll get the benefits of not having to fix it and style it every day, on top of the fact that it'll be a protective style as well. So maybe I'll get it to like grow and add some length to my own natural hair. I don't know. I think there are a lot of pros to it. I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. It's just coming up with the money to get it done. Because I've heard some horror stories about how expensive getting your hair braided can be. She, of course, because she's my friend, she's going to give me a fairly decent deal, but it's still going to be expensive. And because I've never gotten my hair braided before, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know how long that I'm going to be able to stand to keep it in for. Because, of course, if you're going to pay that much money to get your hair braided, you're going to want to have it in for at least, how long are braids supposed to last for? A month, 2 months, 3 months? Like, how long does that work for? I guess she'll let me know, but I don't know. I'm going to try to get, my money's worth, like get the most bang for my buck, but I'm super excited about not having to style it every day. Just curly hair is so much, and I haven't brushed it today, and you can see how it's kind of like, especially this under part, it just gets so knotted and so matted so freaking easily. On a separate note, y'all, I have hit pan. Can you freaking believe that? This is the Essence Contouring Duo. It's a really, really gorgeous little contouring palette. I use it pretty much daily, every single time I do my makeup. But I just kind of like dab my brush into both shades, and it gives me a really gorgeous kind of natural looking contour. Well, it's natural for me anyway. I like a pretty snatched face, but it gives me a really gorgeous kind of contour. I like the way it goes onto the skin. It never looks muddy. It never looks super heavy or like unnatural, and it just blends so easy. Sometimes you can get that kind of like, if you don't blend enough, you can kind of get that ring on your forehead. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a rush doing my makeup and not blended my forehead enough, and I've gone and sat in the car and just seen that semicircle of unblended contour on my forehead and be like, ugh. It's absolutely awful. But this stuff just blends out so super easily. It just looks so nice on the skin, and it's like dirt cheap. I think this contour is only like $3 or $4. Now, it's not as perfect as my Profusion highlight and contour palette, but it's a good, like, it's very close second, and it's super nice. And I also like how like small it is. It's a lot easier to travel with, things like that. So this is a really good one if you're looking for a powder contour palette. Did y'all hear about Mr. Toby Keith? Oh, my heart absolutely broke when I heard that he had passed. I had no idea that he was even sick. Seems like everything just, well, all the news just kind of came out at once. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention to it, so when he passed away, it was all over socials, and I was just like, oh, I had no idea. But oh my goodness, he was one of my very, very favorite country music singers of all time. He reminded me so much of my dad as well. So like, it just kind of like brought up all of those awful feelings from when my dad passed last year. And of course, I wasn't on very good terms with my dad either. So when he passed, I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get any kind of closure. Oh, it was just absolutely awful. So then when I found out that he had passed, it just like was like, it reopened that wound for me. And I was just like, I was kind of torn apart about it. I was kind of like, I think I was projecting a little bit of my dad's passing onto his, but it was a little bit emotional for me. I ended up talking about him for last week's True Love Tuesday. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. It was a really, really good one. Toby Keith and his wife, Trisha Lucas, y'all, they were a literal match made in heaven. And here is today's finished look. What do we think? Do we like it? Do we love it? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. It means so very much. I was in serious need of a gab session. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did. If you did, please don't forget to give it a big old thumbs up before you leave. If you want to see more Chatty Get Ready with me's in the future, just leave me a comment. Let me know you guys enjoyed the video. Also, if you have any suggestions for future content, leave those in the comments as well. I am more than willing to accommodate. Guys, as always, no filters, no fancy lighting. It is just me sitting in front of my camera, doing my makeup, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. I hope you had a absolutely beautiful, magical, wonderful Valentine's Day. I love you so very much. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.